As we saw in another video, the island of Menorca, in Spain, is full of archaeological remains that cause admiration in all those who see them and feel the history in their stones. Experts say that these constructions are no more than 3,500 years old. However, it is impossible to know for sure, as the stones cannot be dated. Therefore, their age was determined by dating the objects found in the excavations, which, of course, could have been placed there thousands of years after their construction. So, the truth is that there is no way to know when these stone constructions were built. And it should also be added that it is completely unknown why and for what purpose they were made. Something very important to consider is the tremendous connection between the archaeological remains of Menorca and those found in Göbekli Tepe, Turkey, and those on the island of Sardinia, Italy. Regarding who their builders were, it should be noted that the ancient Menorcans attributed the construction of these monuments to giants. Curiously, the same happens with the sister constructions on the island of Sardinia. Their ancient inhabitants also believed that the authors of those Cyclopean works were giants. Coincidence? The priest, physician, geographer, and astronomer, and first chronicler of the Kingdom of Majorca, Juan Binamelis Garcia, in his work Nueva Historia de la Isla de Mallorca y de otras islas a ella adyacentes, written in the late 16th century, refers to the first population that settled in the Balearic Islands, whom he considered to be Chaldean people, who came down from the Caspian Mountains and crossed from Africa in the company of Tubal. And, according to the writings of the Bible, Tubal was the son of Japheth, brother of Meshech, and one of the 16 grandchildren of Noah. There is a reference in the Old Testament where it mentions that the Amorites were giants. In Numbers 13:28-33 it says, "But the people who live there are powerful, their cities are enormous and fortified." Caleb said, "Let's go up and conquer that land." But those who had gone up with him answered, "We will not be able to fight against those people. They are stronger than us. The land we explored devours its inhabitants, and the men we saw there are enormous." 33 We even saw the giants of Anak. Compared to them, we looked like grasshoppers, and that's how they saw us. Genesis 10 verses 15-16, 14:13. It is mentioned that Sidon is the son of Canaan and the grandson of Noah, who are the ancestors of the Amorites, among others. That is to say, they came from the lineage of Noah's giants. Tubal, the grandson of Noah, is credited with the first settlement of the Balearic Islands, the same one who, according to various traditions, is considered the first to take possession of the Iberian Peninsula and its settlement. These individuals are seen as giants and are attributed with the construction of the megaliths of Menorca. And coincidentally, this assertion is supported by local toponyms such as Es Clapper de Gegant, which means of the giants, Sa Punta de Gegant, also of the giants. There are many more, and most of them are connected with prehistoric settlements. This line of thought persisted even into the 20th century, in conservative and traditionalist authors like José Roland Mir, who traced the origin of all the populations of the earth back to Noah and his descendants. It is also not surprising that in the oral traditions of the peoples living near megalithic stone monuments, they attribute their authorship to giants, because they could not find a logical explanation for such monumental works. We find very similar legends in many places around the world. Of course, we cannot rule out that perhaps, in the past, they were erected by giants, but this is something we do not know. Therefore, the origins of the Cyclopean monuments in Menorca are truly confusing. Both the taliots and the talas stand out for the use of large and heavy stones that have been placed in very precise locations. However, these are not the only ones that have been associated with giants. There is a Cyclopean construction known as Navita. On the island, there are many and of different types, but none as special as the Navita des Tudons. La Navita des Tudons is a building made from large stone blocks arranged in horizontal rows, one next to the other, without any type of mortar. Some of the heaviest blocks occupy the lower part of the structure, while the rest are made up of different sizes of carved limestone blocks. It has exterior dimensions reaching up to 14.5 meters in length and 6.5 meters in width, measurements that decrease as one ascends, reaching 4.55 meters in height. Although it is believed that, originally, it could have reached up to 6 meters, completely closing the structure, giving it that inverted ship appearance from which this type of building gets its name. The Navita was built on a limestone platform and is oriented southwest-northeast/northwest-southeast, with the entrance to the monument positioned to the southwest, which is very small, only 57 by 75 centimeters, and apparently it could be sealed with a vertical slab. Inside, a corridor opens up leading to the main chamber, which measures 7.45 by 2.45 m, and just above it is the upper chamber, measuring 7.10 m in length and 1.90 m in width. Both chambers have ceilings made from very well-crafted Cyclopean stones embedded in the walls. It is not known what the function of this building was. Officially, it is considered a collective funerary monument due to the discovery of remains of more than 100 individuals, whose bodies were in complete disarray, without knowing if they belonged to the same family or clan. Personal belongings accompanying the deceased were also found alongside the bodies. This was the use given to it during the first millennium before Christ, although it could also be that its construction was earlier, and its purpose very different, but the truth is that it is totally unknown. However, La Navita de Tudons is linked to the giants through a popular legend that has been passed down from generation to generation. It tells that in very ancient times, two giants vied for the love of a woman who was indecisive in choosing between the two of them. Then the giants challenged each other, and each had to undertake a task that required strength and skill. One had to build a boat with large, well-carved stone blocks, and the other had to dig a deep well with the strength of his arms until water gushed forth. One day, loaded with the last stone on his shoulder, the giant of the shuttle passed by the well to inform his adversary and thus declare himself the victor. But from the depths of the hole, the other giant shouted, "It doesn't matter if you finish it, because I've just found water. I have won." Seeing himself as the loser, the shuttle giant, filled with rage, lifted the great rock he was carrying and threw it into the depths of the well, finishing off his rival. But upon realizing what he had done, he disappeared in shame. The legend says that, for that reason, a rock is missing from the southwest facade of the Navita de Tudons. It is surprising the number of popular legends that refer to giants on the island of Menorca and that have an incredible connection with the Cyclopean monuments. There is no way to know if their origins were as extraordinary as they say, but there is no doubt that this island still holds many secrets waiting to be revealed.